Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. Today we've got a special guest, and that is Justin Sun from Tron. So we're going to have an honest conversation about everything that is going on in the world of Tron and his background. So thanks so much for joining us from Hong Kong, I believe, Justin.
Thanks.
Where should we start? I know you've got a big personality and a big following, but I know a lot of people might not know your background. So do you want to maybe fill us in on what you were doing before Tron?
Sure. I born in China in 2007. I went to Peking University for history major, and then I went to University of Pennsylvania in 2011. I know about Bitcoin around 2012, and then because I'm so like fascinated about like the future of the Bitcoin. So I convert most of my assets. At that time, it's not much basically,
Yeah.
all into Bitcoin. And also, my friend introduced me into Ripple. At that time, the company is called OpenCoin, so it's not Ripple.
Yeah.
So he introduced me to OpenCoin, and then later turned to Ripple Labs, and then turned to Ripple. So I stayed there for 1 year and a half. In 2014, I go back to China to start my own business. So we be like the partner of Ripple in China for a while, and then we develop our own like live streaming apps. So we are like one of the largest voice live streaming app in China. This is like before Tron. So in 2017, we launched Tron protocol.
And what did you want to do when you were growing up or when you were studying uni? Is there a certain job or career that you saw yourself doing?
Oh, before I joined crypto industry, I wanted to be a lawyer. So I prepared LSAT for a long time, and I got a very high score. But the crypto changed my life entirely. So after like 2013, I decided to drop like all my like law career and become like full-time focused on crypto.
Yeah, crypto can do that to you. I was a pharmacist and I left pharmacy to do full time crypto a few years ago. So there you go. So do you still hold any of that Bitcoin or XRP from all that time ago?
Yeah, totally. Uh, I think back to like 2012, like Bitcoin the only choice, and then Litecoin XRP comes out. That's like basically the major cryptocurrency at that time. So like all my investment at that early stage, Bitcoin was just like only couple dollars, and the XRP like Litecoin is almost like zero, right? All of them went up dramatically. I will say like I won't expect them to grow like this much. I mean, back to 2012 and 2013.
Absolutely. I was similar. It was very hard to buy Bitcoin in Australia when I found it in 2012, and I don't think you could even buy Litecoin or Ripple until maybe 2014, 15. But anyway, they were crazy times. What made you want to start Tron then? Was it the Ethereum and experimentation around blockchains being able to do more, or yeah, what led you to start Tron?
Yeah, sure. Basically, even back to the days I were in Ripple, because Ripple is more focused on business side of the blockchain, right? I still feel like there is a huge opportunity in consumer blockchain.
Hmm.
At that time, there is no company or foundation is doing consumer blockchain. Ethereum is kind of the first foundation is focused more like on the consumer blockchain. So they come up with this kind of idea. They want to develop like a smart contract platform. It's very convenient for the developers and enterprise and consumers, so they can develop their DApps and also other applications on top of the smart contract platform. Before that, Ripple only have the idea is they want to build a protocol for banks for big enterprise. So that's why I'm start to thinking about doing some business on the consumer side. Because if you look at the history of the internet, you will find out like always the new technology adoption is consumer before big enterprise, basically. So that's why I started to figure out how I start Tron, because I feel like Ethereum also have lots of the improvements they want to make, right? Ethereum has been proposed for POS for quite a long time, and also at the same time they want to also improve their transaction speed and want to make their platform more convenient for the developers. So that's why we started Tron. So we just want to compete with Ethereum on consumer blockchain and try to be more convenient for the developers, and at the same time faster and also cheaper, offer like a faster and cheaper network to developers.
And the Ethereum community saying that they really want to try and make it as decentralized as possible. And now we have, EOS, Neo, a lot of these other chains. Was that trade-off that you were happy to make, more centralization just to give the people more speed? And then obviously we'll talk about marketing and whatnot, but getting users to use the blockchain, because maybe that is a criticism of Ethereum, that they haven't been that great at marketing and whatnot.
Sure. First of all, I believe right now, if we have like multiple chain compete with each other, it's definitely a good sign. Because we are not God, we can't predict who gonna eventually win the war, right? It's just like back to like 2010. There is lots of the operating system for smartphones, and you can't like predict like Android, like Windows, like iOS. Motorola, Cyber, like who gonna eventually win the smartphone operating system war. It's the same. So that's why I always believe like competition breeds the perfection. So that's why I always believe like the more competition, the better. Second thing is, I believe actually depots and POS actually is a very good mechanism for blockchain, because this is more like a democratic governance system. So for Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's more like the more hash power you have, the more power you have on the blockchain. But I prefer is like the more token have, the more power have in the blockchain. Because the people who have the tokens, they really care about the token price. They really care about the network. I believe they are intended to make like rational decisions and also like a good decision in the network. So that's why I believe the depots, so all the super representative is selected by the community, governed by the community, for the community, which will offer like a better solution for the community and the developers. So that's why I think I'm a big supporter for the depots mechanism. And the third thing is about like more like meme and marketing. So I believe like meme cultures actually. So a lot of the things, especially like recently, you see like some Bitcoin maximalists and also like Tron supporters, we kind of like troll Ethereum on Twitter. But I feel like first of all, this kind of the troll is not like it's not like hostile. I mean, it's just like about like the meme culture. I think it's very friendly. Also, we just want to make these spaces full of love and also joy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we try and do on the channel as well. And I was going to ask you about that later, but I know you had a few drinks with Pete McCormack and said, Tron's a shitcoin, and I'll ask you about what you meant by that in a second. But who would have ever thought that Dogecoin would have survived so long and had such a strong community?
Exactly.
And then Litecoin comes along, and I used to hate XRP, but now I'm a bit more open-minded to it, and I've got friends in that community. So talk us through what happened that night with Pete McCormack, and when you said Tron's a shitcoin. Are all altcoins shitcoins in your mind, or what happened there?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I'm a huge believer in the meme culture as well. So because I believe like every currency actually they have this kind of the culture, So back to like the history, like 2000 like 19th centuries or 20th centuries, most of the currency is invented by countries, right? So you will see like the different currencies have different cultures. Their culture is the country, right? They have been used in those countries. But after Bitcoin, so you can see a lot. So these days, a lot of the digital currencies comes out without like invented by countries. So where is the people who use those currency, and where is those people who love the currency? I think it is definitely more like based on community and based on the culture and the meme behind it. So that one of the biggest, I think the example, as you say, I think is also the Dogecoin. So Dogecoin is completely come from like Reddit, right? Without like any development, without like any this kind of the. It's not like Ethereum and Tron. We are more like a business focus, right? We got like update business development every day. So Dogecoin is like very community oriented. There's no development at all. It's just about meme. So, but you can see the Dogecoin has this kind of the long history, and they are the one like in the old days, right? They can survive for so many years. So that's why I always try to also make this like a meme culture in Tron society as well, because I believe the culture, they can dramatically extend like the lifespan of a currency, So that's why I believe like every founders should consider like what kind of the culture we want to have like in our currency, and what kind of the like meme we want to have in our currency. Even today, if I want to invest like in one like currency, especially cryptocurrency, I will start to try to find out if they have like any like meme culture.
Yeah.
I believe like if you have meme culture, it means the society is very healthy, and at the same time, the society is very energetic.
Yeah, fantastic. And so, for those that aren't aware at home, Dogecoin started out from a dog meme on Reddit. The founder was an Australian guy, Jackson Palmer, and he stepped away from it a couple of years ago, and it's still going relatively strong. So, that night though, when you had a few drinks with Pete McCormack, did he try and get you a little bit drunk to make you say something you didn't want to say, or was it all a bit of fun, or what happened that night?
First of all, I'm totally sober, so I haven't like drinking anything.
Okay.
But at that time, I think we just enjoy the culture in the Satoshi roundtables, because I think the Satoshi roundtables, because there is lots of the Bitcoin maximalist is in that conference. So I think Satoshi roundtable. I mean, the name is Satoshi roundtable, right?
Yeah.
So so it's more like pro Bitcoin. So I think that's why this is more like a shitcoin culture. So because lots of the like everybody, even for example like Ethereum is raised Bitcoin to develop Ethereum in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So it actually like Bitcoin is like all the coins is come from Bitcoin. It's just like in Chinese tradition, we have this kind of the Dao tradition, like in the Dao tradition, they say like everything is come from like one,
Yeah.
Like three is come of one, like two is come of one, so everything is comes out from one. So I think the Bitcoin is this one. So I think every founders in this industry is very respect for Bitcoin and also the Satoshi and like his vision and his idea about cryptocurrency. So that's why I think this kind of the shitcoin meme culture is more like pay the respect to the Bitcoin and all those Satoshi.
Yeah, I definitely think that it would be better if more people took themselves less seriously and can have a joke rather than being toxic and fighting.
Exactly. That's my idea too.
The next thing I want to ask was, Yeah, just about that community and culture. Litecoin's probably another one that has a pretty good track record now. But then Charlie went and sold all his coins and he felt pressure from the community for pumping and dumping. So, I mean, I take it you still hold all your Tron and whatnot. So did you think that was the right thing to do, or would you do things differently if you were him? What do you think about all that?
Yeah, I think eventually I want to reduce my influence on the society. I mean, it's just like my mentor, like Jack Ma. He also like planned like so much for Alibaba Group,
Yes.
but eventually he want to reduce himself. He retired like last year.
Yeah.
He completely like focused on Hupan University these days. He just want to teach more like students and also tells like everybody how to be a good entrepreneurs. And for me, because right now I'm only like 90, I'm only like 29, so I still have like a lot of the days I will completely like focus on Tron, but eventually I want Tron to survive like without me. So that's why I also want to have this kind of the meme culture, have a very energetic community. So I just want like Tron, they can run like very smooth without me. That's also like one of the objects I trying to achieve here. So that's totally that's why I agree with Charlie Lee. So he is also trying to reduce some of his influence on Litecoin. So that's the same thing I trying to do here. Even though I want to contribute all my life and everything to Tron to make this successful. And also, I also want Tron to grow like independently as well.
Yeah. One of the things that I've been learning as I've been doing a lot of these interviews, and I have friends now that are in China and Southeast Asia with their startups, that there's this model of replicating Western businesses, and it's quite common, and they don't really have patents or copyright as much in China. So one of the things that you copped some criticism for was the parts of the white paper that you copied or plagiarized, depending on who you asked. Is that something that's quite normal in your mind, to copy certain bits of pieces of other technology that you considered good, or what do you think about all that?
First of all, I believe like the open source culture is actually one of the like the best culture in our community. You know, lots of the protocols is come from like other people, right? For example, like Litecoin, like Dogecoin, most of the POW coin is basically comes from Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And also like Ethereum also learn a lot of things from Bitcoin, like Ripple, like all like other front runners. And also the same time we can see like Monero is learned from like Darkcoin. So that's definitely I believe like the communication and also like learn from each other will brace actually the better protocol in our industry. That's why I mean even like Tron, we are like open source and also available like for all the developers in the world. They can learn from Tron, they can use Tron whatever they want. And I believe I think Tron is more like a hybrid of Ethereum and EOS. So we take a lot of the good power from Ethereum, and also we take a lot of the good power from EOS, and we combine these two things together. I can give you some example. First of all, compared to Ethereum, we are faster and we are using depots mechanism. And compared to EOS, we fully compatible for Ethereum virtual machine. So every developer on the Ethereum is very easy to develop on Tron instead of EOS, because EOS use C++ virtual machine. Yeah. So you have to like develop completely different, right? So you basically need to rewrite your dApps if you want to migrate to EOS. So that's why I mean lots of the developers are willing to develop on Tron because it's cheaper and faster compared to Ethereum. And also it's more convenient to develop on Tron because you don't need to rewrite anything. It's fully compatible to Ethereum. So that's something we always trying to do here. We want to learn from the best in the industry and combine them together, come up with a hybrid solution, which is benefits the customer and the developers eventually.
That's something that surprised me in the past 12 months was Ethereum Classic and Ethereum really kissed and made up, and now they're talking about being interoperable. We see a XRP Ethereum bridge. Now you're talking about Tron being compatible with Ethereum. So that's something where we had all those tribalisms and whatnot. And I think it's started to maybe stop and change a little bit now.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I believe in the future, lots of the tokens and the protocol, they can be connect with each other, right? And also the token swap and also the chain communication. Because Tron is also, we develop like a chain communication solution as well. So in the future, we believe like every chain is connected. We will have this like a very large blockchain ecosystem, which different chains they can communicate with each other as well.
Fantastic. Now, one of the things that, again, people were saying that Tron is just all hype, but at the other end of the spectrum, like I said before, I don't think that Ethereum have marketed themselves that well to begin with. So obviously you're probably at that other extreme and you've bought BitTorrent Steemit. Talk about that. Is that to get the users and the community and the awareness growing, probably doing it a little bit too much, or is that, yeah?
Yeah, totally. So I want to introduce like Tron visions here. So in Tron, when we founded the company, we always trying to build like a decentralized internet. So we want like every infrastructure on the internet to be decentralized. The reason is very simple. The decentralized internet has no control of users' data. They give back like all the rights to their users and to the peoples. That's like why like in internet is originally founded by Tim Berners-Lee is we want to build a fully decentralized internet. So that's why you can see like all the things we do, even we have lots of the acquisition in the industry, but we always focus on like one goal is trying to make the internet more decentralized. So that's why we acquired BitTorrent, since BitTorrent is the world's largest decentralized protocol. And also for Steemit, Steemit is a very decentralized forum. Basically, it's like a decentralized Reddit, right? Yeah. And also we made some investment in lots of the exchanges because we believe that exchange in our industry is powered decentralized financing in our industry. So a lot of things we do, but it's always focused on like one goal, to make the internet like decentralized. We also put lots of the efforts on DLive. It's a decentralized live streaming platform. Yeah. So that's why we have been like focused a lot of efforts on trying to make internet more decentralized.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, Poloniex was the #1 altcoin exchange back in the day. So what's your vision or goal with the Poloniex, and what's the relationship there between yourself?
Yeah, sure. We are the investor of Poloniex, and we just want like Poloniex to be like back to what they do in 2017, right? Even like 2015. So be like the Altcoin exchange. We will be like coin friendly to all the coins and the protocols, offer as much as choices to our customer. They can invest in all kind of the cryptocurrencies in our industry, right? So that's why I mean I believe the Poloniex will be a very good financing platform and a trading platform for all kinds of the cryptocurrencies.
Yeah. Now, when we had China really crack down on regulation and that recently, CZ came on and he shared his thoughts with us as well. But what are your thoughts around that? Is China still a place that you really want to gain traction? Do you see that Neo, Ontology, or Tron have an advantage there? Or is that a place where you're a bit worried now about being, doing too much marketing and too much tweeting and stuff like that? Or what are your thoughts around all the regulation with China?
Yeah, sure. Definitely, I think China has a huge opportunity. And I believe like the Chinese government and the authority is also very pro-Bitcoin. Pro blockchain, even though they have some reserve towards Bitcoin, but I believe they are like a huge lover for blockchain, and they want to encourage the blockchain development in China. So that's why I believe we have like a huge opportunities. We have a very large community in China around like over 1 million people in China. They follow like closely in my Weibo and also in my WeChat accounts. And also we have like a lot of the WeChat groups. They discuss about Tron and blockchain development like every day. I believe the Chinese community is very active, and I believe there is a huge chance in China. So definitely, I believe in 2012 we will continue to develop in China and to get more attractions.
For sure. You said 2012. Do you mean 2020 or?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 2020.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
For 2020, we definitely want to pull more resources in China and also have more attractions in China.
And what will it take for Tron to succeed? Is it the number of developers? We know that Ethereum does have a head start, but they've still got that long transition to move to proof of stake. So do you think you have that advantage already having a proof of stake chain? And what's the key to success now? Is it just getting dApps and users, developers?
Sure, definitely. I believe first of all, developer is the key, right? So these days, I think Tron is dominates the DApp development right now. We have over 700 DApps on Tron. So, and also we have like 2 to 3 DApps like come on Tron like every day. So that's why I believe definitely as long as we have the developers, Tron will eventually be a very successful blockchain. That's the first thing. I think the second thing is DeFi. So we collaborate with Tether this year to develop USDT Tron, and this is a very successful business. You can see these days a lot of the people start to using USDT on Tron because this is faster and cheaper, easier. I have heard a lot of the traders, they told me like USDT on Tron is the best in the industry because in the past, if they want to deposit the money into exchange to buy Bitcoin, to buy other coins, it's taken them like hours to complete the transaction. But these days, if they deposit in USDT, it's cost them just like 1 second. So help them a lot to capture the moment, because if you like after like an hour, the price already going up for like 10%, right? You already lose the chance. So that's why they believe like USDT on Tron is a fabulous things. And also, of course, this year we'll collaborate with more DeFi developers to develop like a collateral, a stable coins, and also other decentralized finance product on top of Tron.
Yeah, one of the questions we had from people at home was about the tether movements on Tron, and then we see big pumps or dumps, but that's probably because it is the fastest one now, that they're probably the most active traders that are using it. Yeah.
Exactly.
The other thing I was going to ask you about was those dApps. So are they mainly gaming and gambling, and are they mainly Chinese dApps that are on Tron at the moment?
Oh, right now it's worldwide. I think the majority of the user is come from United States, Canada, UK, Europe, Korean, and China. So yeah, I believe, and also we have lots of the user in Russia, Ukraine, and Turkey as well. So I believe this is like the distribution of the users, and also at the same time, I believe the most important thing is also BitTorrent. So we roll out like BitTorrent Speed and the BTFS is a decentralized storage and file transfer protocol and on blockchain this year. So definitely, I believe after BitTorrent Speed and the BTFS launch, it will bring like 100 million active users into blockchain space. Not only gonna benefit Tron a lot, but also at the same time will benefit the whole world and the whole like blockchain industry. I believe there will also a lot of the people start to learn about crypto and will increase lots of the buying powers in our industry as well.
I have to ask you about the Warren Buffett dinner or lunch, whatever it was, and then he came out on the news and said, I don't own any Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency. So most people know that Warren Buffett's heavily invested in bank stocks and things that are probably going to be disrupted by cryptocurrencies. But what was that conversation like? Is there any insider goss you can tell us? And do you think he did? I think he said that he donated his Bitcoin to someone else, or what happened there?
Yeah. I learned from CNBC. They tell me like Warren Buffett donate all his Bitcoin and Tron, BTT, into Glenn Foundation, which I believe this is a very wise decision, because both like Warren Buffett and me is always like focused on help the homeless people in San Francisco. So that's the original why we have this lunch in the first place, right? Yeah. So and also of course I believe, even though Warren Buffett has lots of the stakes in banks, for example, like JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, American Express, but all the portfolio he invested these days is super bullish, and also is very focused lots of their energy on blockchain these days.
Yes.
So recently, I think Wells Fargo invest into the chain analysis. And also they try to invest into lots of the blockchain companies. And of course, like JP Morgan has doing quorums for quite a long time. They develop on their blockchain technology and try to collaborate with consensus, right? And also, of course, like American Express also have their own like blockchain solutions. That's why I believe like Warren Buffett, when we talk about blockchains in the dinner, he is very bullish and very pro blockchain these days. He actually knows a lot of the blockchain approach of his portfolio companies, and also at the same time, I think the only doubts he have is he didn't like figure out how like Bitcoin capture the value of the blockchain, of the blockchain his portfolio is trying to develop. I think that's the only like skepticism he has, but I think definitely he is recognize the value of the blockchain themselves. That's why I believe maybe after 5-10 years, he will be even bullish about the blockchain, about crypto. So we have like a reunion in 2030. So I think after 2030, we can check out like after 10 years, what his opinion on the crypto.
Maybe we'll give him one Bitcoin for $100,000 on his 100th birthday, maybe.
Exactly. So the Bitcoin I gave him is around like $9,000. I believe after 10 years, it will increase at least to 100K or something.
Absolutely. Any thoughts on the market in general at the moment with the coronavirus and stocks are going down? Is this something where you've heard from friends in China that it's worse or it's not that bad, it's going to be okay, or what? Because it is affecting the crypto markets as well as the stock markets.
Yeah, sure, totally. I think recently the decrease of the crypto market, I think it's just like a correction for basically a month like a bull like rally before, right? Yeah. So I believe we need to have some correction in the market. But for the long term, even for like 3 months term, I believe crypto is still in the market in a bull market right now. So I believe still the halving is now pricing. So definitely we will see a lot of like bull run basically in the first half of the year. And also, if you see the history patterns, even after the halving, actually Bitcoin is still in the bull trend. So that's why I believe for crypto market itself, I'm super bullish. But for the economic perspective, I'm kind of like feel it's maybe this is not like a good time to invest into the stock. Because China is one of the world factories, right? A lot of the like iPhone, like everything is come from China. And these days, because of the coronavirus, lots of the factory is suspended, and they all focus on manufacturing like more mask for Chinese citizens.
Yeah.
So that's why I believe in the short term, it's not like a good news for a world economy. We may see a little bit like a bearish in the stock market for maybe half a year period.
Yeah, we're definitely aware that China is the manufacturing in Australia here, where we buy everything from China. So, have you been to Australia? Have you got any plans to come to Australia?
I haven't been to Australia yet, but definitely I believe I will have chance to come to Australia in 2020.
Okay, fantastic. Well, is there anything else you wanted to touch on about Tron or the crypto market in general we haven't discussed today, Justin?
I think we can also talk a little bit about BitTorrent and BTT.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, one of the criticisms is, why does it need a token? There's lots of BitTorrent users already, so what are the advantages to get them to use the token?
Yeah, sure, totally. So the first application we ship on BitTorrent is BitTorrent Speed. So basically, in the past, even though a lot of the people use BitTorrent and uTorrent clients, of course, right? But the problem is the people who contribute to the ecosystem, they don't have any reward. So this is just purely based on their goodwill. So that's why a lot of the people suspend their uploading after they download the files, right? So that's why we want to encourage people to create this kind of the incentives for people who always contribute to the network. So after we launch the BitTorrent Speeds in the future, so if the more you download, you will spend a tiny amount of the BTT to accelerate your downloading. And also the people who continuously to seeding in the protocol, they can receive BTT as a reward. So basically, I believe without the BitTorrent Speed, BitTorrent is work perfectly fine. But with the BitTorrent Speed, BitTorrent can even be better. So that's the reason why we introduced BitTorrent Speed into BitTorrent protocol. And then the second thing we introduced to BitTorrent protocol is BTFS. So we know these days there is 100 million active users in BitTorrent protocol. BitTorrent clients and uTorrent clients is installed in everybody's computer. So we have this kind of the idea. Why not we just share like all the computer resources to others? So with BTFS, you can share the storage in your computer to others, and you can earn BTT. And others can pay BTT to store their files in everybody's computer in the world. And if you see the price actually is very competitive compared to Google Drive, like Amazon, and all the storage service provider in the industry, because this is only cost like 1/10 or even 1/5 compared to the traditional storage providers. And also we provide a decentralized and censorship resistance storage solutions. So you don't need to worry about your files is deleted by centralized server providers. You don't need to worry about you will lose your files. It's always decentralized, like blockchain, stored in everybody's computer, encrypted. So that's why I believe this is also a very powerful tools for developers and users if they want their files to be 100% safe.
So this is, I guess, the competitors for Filecoin, Storage, Sia, those type of projects.
Exactly. I think if compared to Storage and the Filecoins, IPFS, the biggest advantage BitTorrent has is still the very distributed network in the world. Because even Storage, IPFS, Filecoin, they only have like thousands nodes around the globe. BitTorrent has over 100 million devices in the world. It's very distributed. They have a huge amount of the computer devices. So it is super reliable and safe compared to our other competitors.
Fantastic. Well, that's been a great conversation, Justin. It was honestly very different to what I thought it was going to be. I've definitely learnt a few things about Tron. So any final messages for people at home?
Yeah, sure. I always believe like everybody, even today, I used to say this since in 2012. I mean, even after 8 years, even today, I still want to say is like everybody knowing about crypto today, you are still the early adopter. I mean, in this industry, it's just like you are the passenger on the Mayflowers. You are still like in a very early days of the American history. So don't hesitate. Please get on the ship. There's lots of the fantastic things towards the journey.
Well, I really appreciate you answering all my questions so openly and honestly. That's been fantastic. I hope you guys have enjoyed that at home, and we'll have to catch up again in future, Justin.
Totally.
Cool.
Catch up in Australia.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thanks.